Hello everybody, my name is Jennifer Maker and welcome to the Great Maker Show and Tell. Today we're making what's known as floating ornaments. And no, that doesn't mean that they're floating about in a pool of water, though that might look kind of cool. No, it means that they have an image inside the clear ornament, just appearing to float there as if by magic. Now last year I made a floating ornament the hard way. I took a clamshell ornament and I hot glued this pretty paper scene inside it. But today I'm going to show you a much easier way to get an image to float inside a clear ornament. In fact, I'm going to show you 3 different ways to do this. And it's going to be so cool. You're going to love it. So you can make a floating ornament from nearly any type of ornament that has a smooth and clear exterior, like the ones that you see here, the ones that you see on the tree. You just need to be able to get inside the ornament somehow. What you may want to avoid is an ornament with a faceted, textured, or less transparent exterior like this one, because it'll be really hard to see your awesome image inside. But you can use nearly any size, and I went out to the store and I found all of the sizes of clear ornaments that were available. Everything from 100 millimeter round one, 80 millimeter and 60 millimeter to these oval flat ones like this that are 80 and 60 millimeters, and even these tiny 40 millimeter ones. And this light bulb one would work as well. I've taken all of these commonly shaped ornaments and I've created a series of templates for you to use to create your floating ornaments. And it's going to make it so much easier. And you're going to use these templates to create your interior image, which can be anything from a photo to text to a design or any combination of those. And I'm going to show you exactly how to do that in each of the 3 ways and the trick to getting that image to float. So for this project, you're going to need your ornaments, glass or plastic, and some transparency film, acetate, vinyl, and or paper. You're also going to want to download my ornament templates so that you don't have to guess at the size and shape to use for your project. You'll find those templates free on my blog at jennifermaker.com. Sound good? Okay, so let me show you how you can create a personalized floating ornament. Alright, so to get the designs and templates, go to jennifermaker.com and click on Libraries. And once you type in the password, which you can get for free, you will find all of the files, including these floating ornament template and design files. Just download those, unzip them, and you're going to want to locate the SVG file for uploading. Now let me show you how to do the first method of a floating ornament, and that is to use transparency film. And if you want to use a photo, this is the one that you are going to want to make. Go to Cricut Design Space and click on New Project. Then click on Upload, Upload Image, and then Browse. Find that SVG file within the zip archive and open it, and there you go. Those are our ornament templates. So go ahead and click it and insert images. So here they are on our canvas, all the different sizes. So we're going to ungroup these, move them down on the screen and ungroup them, and we're going to bring in our image that we want to use for our photo ornament. So it's a picture of my baby many years ago. So once this is, comes in, you want to click Complex and then click Continue. So you can modify the photo here if you want, but I'm not going to. So I'm just going to click Continue. And then on the screen, you want to save it as a print then cut image. So the one on the left. Make sure that's selected and click Save. It might take a little while depending on how big your photo is. Alright, so that has uploaded, so we'll select it and click Insert Images. And there we go. There's our cute little baby picture. Now we're going to pick one of these ornament templates based on the size of the ornaments that we're working with, right? And I'm going to use this one. And I'm going to duplicate it so I have an extra copy of it. I'm going to move that copy up onto the photo. Now don't resize, so obviously they don't fit, right? Unless you want just the face, but you don't want to resize the ornament, you want to resize the photo. So use the icon, the double arrow icon in the lower right corner, so that the ornament fits within that photo entirely. Okay, then select both of these by clicking and dragging around them, and then go down and click slice. So slice is a big deal, and it's what's going to allow you to create your photo ornament. There you go. So that one in the middle there, that is all you need to make an awesome floating ornament with a photo. So let's go ahead and remove these other things here. We'll group these things up again so that we can easily hide them. All right, so now we have just our baby picture ornament. We're going to click Make It. So here it is. Now this is a print then cut image, right? So we're going to want to print this onto our transparency film. So that's the very first step. So you'll need to have a printer connected for this. Click Send to Printer. Make sure that it's, the appropriate one. I am going to be using transparency film that works on an inkjet. Now, the inkjet film has two different sides, and you are printing on the rough side, so you might want to mirror it so that your image, even though it's printed on the rough side, you can turn around and have it the shiny side out. I don't know how big of a deal it is, but you can if you want to. So I went ahead and did it. All right, so we're going to send this to my printer, and we're going to be using transparency film on an inkjet printer. So click Print and allow your printer to print out the transparency. Now, again, I mentioned that you want to print on the rough side of the transparency film. This is very important. So you want to make sure that you identify which side is the rough side. So let me show you my transparency film so you can see what it looks like. So I got my transparency film from Staples. That's what I had available, and it's for an inkjet. It's important that you get the right kind of transparency film for your printer. You can't use the copier and the laser printer on an inkjet and vice versa, unless it says universal, in which case it's fine then. So pull out a sheet, and this particular transparency film comes with a white strip at the top, and that's the side that you feed into your printer. And if you look at this, you can see this is the rough side. You turn over, and this is the shiny side. Can you see the difference? It's subtle, but you can feel it with your fingers. The shiny side is very smooth. The rough side has a texture to it. You want to print on the textured side. And you put it in with that white side leading in. Now for my printer, that means putting the transparency in face down, but your printer might be different. So double check that before you print. All right, so once you've done that, it's time for you to cut out your transparency film. So search for foil acetate, and we're going to use that as our material. And change the pressure to more, and then go ahead and cut this out on your Cricut Explorer or Cricut Maker. Now, important, make sure that your transparency, your printed photo on your transparency is dry before you cut, just to be on the safe side. And let me show you what it's like to cut this. So here we have the transparency of the baby photo, and this is going to be a print then cut project. And it's really not a scary thing. A lot of people get confused by this, but we've already printed it, and now it's time to cut it. So we just lay it on our mat, just like we normally would. There it is. We're just going to feed it into our machine. And I'm going to get up close and show you what it looks like when it does this. So that black line that's around the image, those are the guidelines. And every time you do a print and cut, it always checks to see where your guidelines are. And then that way it knows exactly where to cut so that your cut is lined up to your image. And that's what's so really awesome about it. It's really very sophisticated. So it's done that. It's figured out where the alignment is, and now it's going to cut it. And it cuts right around the ornament. I love this. I love print and cut. There, that wasn't so hard. Yep, there we go. Okay, so let's take this off the mat so you can see that it worked. Oh, peels right off. And there is our cut ornament, floating ornament image. All right, let's put this together now. So we're going to take the right size ornament ball and our printed floating image. And the way that we're going to get this in here is to roll it up, just like this, into a little tube. A tube that is narrow enough to fit into the opening of your ornament. And it slides right in. Make sure that little square bit is at the top when you slide it in. And then it unfurls and opens up for you, just like that. Isn't that cool? And if it's not straight or positioned where you want it to be, you can take your tweezers and rearrange things until you get it just the way you want it. And there we go. There is our floating photo in an ornament. It's pretty awesome, I think. You can make a lot of really cool things with this. And of course, it doesn't have to be a photo. It can just be a design, or it can be text. Anything that you're willing to print. And then, if it's, you don't have to worry about weeding and glue and stuff, right? If you do it this way on the transparency film. You can put a bow at the top. You could even put a name across the front of it if you wanted. All right, so method number 2. To do this one, we're going to upload the design file. So I've created 9 designs for you to use, and this method is to use vinyl on acetate. So instead of printing onto transparency film, because transparency film is expensive and not everybody has an inkjet printer, I'm going to show you the method where you just print your, you cut vinyl and put the vinyl onto the acetate. So here we have our 9 designs and our 6 ornament templates. You need to pick the ornament template that's right for your size ornament. And I'm going to use this size here. So I'll just get rid of the others so they're not distracting me. And I'm going to ungroup these so that I can use just the one I want. And then you drag it over and you're going to resize it to fit the ornament. Remember the ornament template. Remember the ornament template is the one that doesn't move at all. It's the correct size. So there we go. It's centered right on top of the ornament template. And we are going to just do center horizontally to make sure that it's nice and straight. Okay, so let's take these and group them again so we can hide them easily. All right, there we go. Now we have just our acetate layer and our vinyl layer. So we'll click Make It. And there we go. Design Space separates it into our acetate layer and our vinyl layer. All we have to do is cut these 2 out. Just be sure that, after you cut out your acetate layer, you're going to want to use, so we'll click Continue and connect to our device. Again, you can use an Explorer or a Maker. Click Browse All Materials and type in acetate. Yep. And then go ahead and cut that out. And then once the acetate layer is cut out, you'll want to come back in here and change your material to vinyl because it's a different material, right? So just search on vinyl, and I'm going to use premium vinyl and click Done and go ahead and cut that out. Okay, so now let's put our ornament for method number 2 together. So we have our acetate and we have our vinyl, right? So we're just going to put that vinyl right on top of that acetate. That's all we're doing here. So peel off the extra vinyl and weed it just like you would for any other vinyl project. You make sure this design I did here is one of the snow globe designs. So it's a deer with snow falling on it. That's why I cut it out in white vinyl, even though it's a bit hard to see. Sorry about that. There you go. You can kind of see it, right? So we're going to take a piece of transfer tape and put it right over our vinyl design. And if it doesn't want to come off, which one this one doesn't, make sure you scrape that down really well so it's really adhered to the transfer tape, and it'll come off a lot easier. There we go. And then we just put it on our acetate, our floating ornament acetate. So burnish it down well, and then peel off the transfer tape layer. And there you go. You have your, oops, I missed a bit there. I missed a little bit between the deer's legs. So there we go. And we're going to put it into our ornament exactly the same way. We're going to roll it up, narrow enough so that it fits through the neck of the ornament, and then insert it into the ornament. Just make sure that you're putting it in so that the square at the top is, the last part to go in. And if it works, it'll unfurl inside of our ornament and be amazing, which it is. Isn't that cool? And then you can use some tweezers to rearrange it. If you kind of pull up on it, it tends to sort of give it, a little bit of breathing room so it can settle in and be in the right spot. And there we go. Just put the top on and you're good to go. I think this one turned out really pretty. Okay, so I want to show you another one of these vinyl designs, and this time I want to show you how to fix a problem. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and do this one, which I think is, I love this vinyl. It's like a copper metallic textured vinyl. It's really pretty. All right, so we're going to go ahead and do exactly the same thing. You might find it easier to place your ornament on top, the template on top of the vinyl, to center it. Anyway, so there we go. There is our floating ornament layer ready to go. We roll it up into a narrow tube and put it in like this. And you'll notice that it doesn't look like it really wants to fit, right? And you can try to make it fit. And, the first one I got to fit, but this second one, this one is a lot more stubborn, right? And I'm using a dowel here to get in there and just sort of manipulate it more. I mean, if you look at it, it doesn't seem like it's really fitting. It's really it's a struggle here. So chances are this is just a little bit too big. And see that funky curve there? That's a sure sign that this is too big. So we're going to put our tweezers in and we can pull it right out. You kind of twist it and it comes right out. So what we're going to do to fix this is we're going to narrow this circle just a touch with our scissors, right? I mean, this sometimes happens. If you put your vinyl on just a little bit off, it might expand it just a little bit, enough that it's just a little bit too tight. So let's try it again and see if this fit better. And you can tell already this is going to fit better. Yep, there we go. Perfect. So it was just a touch too big, and I actually went back after I did this and modified the file. So it's also and so I've now made it just a tiny bit smaller so it'll fit this 100 millimeter ornament, which is the size I used for this. I love this one. I think this one might be my favorite. All right, so method number 3. We're going to use another one of the designs I made for this tutorial. It's the Designs 2 file, and it is a layered winter card. And it's a deer and an owl, and it's 3 layers. And they go on either, so they're going to go back to back. So it's actually going to end up being like 6 layers of paper, right? And the idea is that you can twirl the ball and you'll see the 2 sides. It's not dissimilar from my Silent Night ornament. So again, we're going to upload our ornament templates and our design. Oops, I got one too many here. Let's get rid of that. Okay, so Let's ungroup those so we can use just the one that we want, which is the one at the bottom. This is the one I want based on the size of the ornament. So we're going to resize the design, and I'm going to arrange this so it goes to the back so that my design's on top, just so I can see it better. And we're going to resize it and position it so it fits. There we go. That looks pretty good. Awesome. Okay, so in this case, we're only going to be cutting paper, and I'll explain how this will work. So that means you can go ahead and hide the layer, the cut layer with the ornament template. So hide that and click Make It. And now we have our 3 layers in 3 different colors of cardstock. So go ahead and cut this out just like you would for any other cardstock. It's nothing tricky about this. Okay, so this method number 3 has a secret. So you can buy ornaments that just open up like this and have a special place for a floating piece of paper. Like, awesome, right? So I bought this at Joann's. So you can totally get these. I'll put the link to how you can find them online. And so all we're going to do is we're going to put our layered paper, which is way too thick to be rolled up, right? We're going to put our layered paper on that template that just comes inside and they call it a photo ball, yeah. And burnish everything down. And this one is super easy, right? So there's our layered ornament insert. And then we're just going to place it right there. That's it. Close it up. And then we put the top on, and the top will keep it closed. Ta-da! All done. Method number 3 is super fast. So I hope this gives you some really fun ideas for floating ornaments that you can make this holiday season. These ornaments are great for your tree, of course, but they also are fun to give as gifts or even just as gift toppers, right? And if you like to make my layered paper floating ornament, the Silent Night ornament, you'll find that tutorial and the free files over on my blog as well. So tomorrow we're going to make puzzles. It's a fun gift idea, and everyone will be amazed that you can make your own puzzles. I'm going to totally clear up the whole mystery on how to do that. Be sure to send in your project ideas at jennifermaker.com. I'm getting so many great ideas from you, and I truly appreciate your suggestions. Remember, if you can tell me what you want to make, I can show you how to make it. Until tomorrow.